In scene 4 of Act 3, we see some complicating factors. We see a couple of different conversations, each of which is fairly innocent, but when you put them all together, they start building up some complexity, and all complexity is used by Iago for evil. So let's begin with Act 3, Scene 4. At the beginning of the scene, Desdemona, Emilia, and this clown, this servant, enter, and Desdemona is looking for Cassio, and the clown here, in this case, is somehow associated with the household that Cassio was in, whereas earlier the same clown was associated with the household that Desdemona and Othello were in, if you recall. It's sort of the typical characteristic of the clown to be where he needs to be to do the thing he needs to do. He's not a real serious character. He's a sort of an extra.
Do you know, Sirrah, where Lieutenant Cassio lies?
Oh, I dare not say he lies anywhere.
Why, man?
He's a soldier, and for me to say a soldier lies is stabbing.
Go to. Where lodges he?
Oh, to tell you where he lodges is to tell you where I lie.
Can anything be made of this?
Well, I know not where he lodges, and for me to devise a lodging and say he lies here or he lies there were to lie in mine own throat.
Can you inquire him out and be edified by report?
I will catechize the world for him. That is, make questions and by them answer.
Seek him, bid him come hither. Tell him I have moved my lord on his behalf and hope all will be well.
To do this is within the compass of man's wit, and therefore I'll attempt the doing of it.
So the clown makes a couple of jokes. She says, "Where is Cassio lying?" Well, I can't tell you that. He's lying anywhere because he's a soldier, and if I tell you he's lying, I'll get beat up. Well, can you tell me where he's lodging? Well, no, because then I'd be lying, because I don't know where he's lodging. You know, it's a pun. But then she says in the end, "Can you tell him that I have moved my lord on his behalf?" You recall the last thing she heard from her husband was, "You tell Cassio to come to me anytime you want, and I'll take care of him because that's what you want." It was after that that Iago and Othello decided that they would not help Cassio. So the clown goes off to find Cassio.
Where should I lose that handkerchief, Emilia?
I know not, madam.
Believe me, I had rather have lost my purse full of cruzados, and but my noble Moor is true of mind, and made of no such baseness as jealous creatures are, it were enough to put him to ill thinking.
Is he not jealous?
Who? He? I think the son where he was born drew all such humours from him.
Now, before Othello enters, let's look at what's going on here. She says, "Oh, I lost that handkerchief. I wish I knew where." And Emilia says, "Oh, I don't know where you lost it." Liar. Remember, she picked it up, and she gave it to her husband. Now, she doesn't know what the husband wants for it, but she's lying here for her husband. And Desdemona says, "I wish I would have rather lost a bunch of money, but if my noble husband were of such baseness that he was jealous, then I'd be anxious. This kind of thing would make him suspicious of me." And she says, "Is he not jealous?" She goes, "Oh, no. No, the son where he was born, in the desert of North Africa, perhaps, the sun burned all jealousy out of him. So I'm not worried about that." And in walks Othello, and Desdemona begins to talk with her husband.
Look where he comes.
I will not leave him now till Cassio be called to him. How is't with you, my lord?
Well, my good lady, oh, hardness to dissemble. How do you, Desdemona?
Well, my good lord.
Give me your hand. This hand is moist, my lady.
It yet hath felt no age nor known no sorrow.
This argues fruitfulness and liberal heart. Hot, and moist. This hand of yours requires a sequester from liberty, fasting, and prayer. Much castigation, exercise devout. For here's a young and sweating devil here that commonly rebels. 'Tis a good hand, A frank one?
You may indeed say so, for 'twas that hand that gave away my heart.
A liberal hand. The hearts of old gave hands, but our new heraldry is hands, not hearts.
I cannot speak of this. Come now, your promise.
What promise? Chuck, and by Chuck he means chick. When he walks up, Desdemona says, "Oh, I'm not going to leave my husband until Cassio comes, till he talks with Cassio." And Othello comes in and says, "Hello," and then aside. Remember, when he's talking aside, he's thinking. He's thinking honestly. He has already planned that he's going to kill her because she is cheating. Everything from here on is just reinforcing that thought. He says, "Oh, hardness to dissemble. It's so difficult to deceive her and not let her know what I'm thinking. I'm going to kill her. And it's difficult to keep her from thinking that because I'm so ticked off." And she says, "Oh, hello there." And he takes her hand and he says, "Oh, your hand is wet and hot, which indicates that you are lusty and you're sort of sexually immoral." Okay. And he says, "Your hand requires sequest from liberty. It requires being taken away from sin. It should be, sequestered away, and it should become like a nun," right? He says that there's some devil in your hand. But then he says, "'Tis a good hand, a frank one," which sounds, what? A good hand? A frank hand? Yeah. What he's saying is that it's honest. It shows the truth. It can't help but be true and honest in the fact that it is evil. Okay, so that's what he means here. He's saying your hand is being honest. It's showing it's evil. And Desdemona hears, "Your hand is honest and good and pure." And she says, "Yes, it is honest and good and pure. It gave away my heart to you. That's how honest and pure my hand is." And he thinks, or he says, it's a liberal hand. It's a liberal hand. That's what's going on here. This notion that in the olden days, hands used to be honest, and now the heraldry is hands, not hearts. It's a bit of a mysterious statement to me. He basically, I believe what he's saying is, nowadays, the hand that gives itself away in marriage isn't as honest as it used to be. Okay. And it sounds like she's a little confused by it too, because she says, "I cannot speak of this," which is a Shakespearean way of saying, I I have no response to that. I don't know what you're saying. But then she says, "No, but there is something. There is something that I am looking for from you. Remember, you promised." Well, what did he promise? He promised to see Cassio. So right in the midst of him implying that she is untrustworthy and is fooling around on him, she says, "Hey, speaking of my friend Cassio," she's being really innocent and ignorant about his attitude towards her right now. Let's hear her bring up the guy that Othello is suspicious of.
Promise, Chuck.
I have sent to bid Cassio come speak with you.
I have a salt and sorry room offends me. Lend me thy handkerchief.
Here, my lord.
That which I gave you.
I have it not about me.
Not.
No, faith, my lord.
That's a fault. That handkerchief did an Egyptian to my mother give. She was a charmer and could almost read the thoughts of people. She told her, while she kept it, it would make her amiable and subdue my father entirely to her love. But if she lost it, or made a gift of it, my father's eye should hold her loathed, and his spirits should hunt after new fancies. She, dying, gave it me, and bid me, when my fate would have me wife, to give it her. I did so, and take heed on't. Make it a darling like your precious eye. to loose or give away was such perdition as nothing else could match.
Is it possible?
'Tis true. There's magic in the web of it. A sibyl that had numbered in the world the sun to cost 200 compasses in her prophetic fury sowed the work. The worms were hallowed that it breathed the silk, and it was dyed in mummy, which the skillful conserved of maidens' hearts.
Faith, is it true?
Most veritable. Therefore look to it well.
Then would to God that I had never seen it.
Now let's hear about this handkerchief. This is something else, this handkerchief. Okay, we'll start back here. She had said, okay, Cassio's coming to talk with you, and he sort of out of nowhere says, my eye is all watery. Give me your handkerchief. Earlier he said, I've got a headache. She said, I'll bind your head with my handkerchief. And it was like too small. So he said, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Now he's asking for the handkerchief. And when she pulls out a handkerchief, it's not the one. It's not the one with the berries on it, right? And he says, how about that other one that I gave you? Oh, I don't have it. Where is it? I don't have it right now, okay? And then we get this. Okay, the handkerchief that I gave you was given by an Egyptian to my mother, okay? She was some kind of witch, a charmer, and she said, as long as you, ma'am, keep this handkerchief, it will make your husband amiable. It will subdue your husband. It'll keep him in love with you. But if she lost it, or if she made a gift of it, my father's eye would hate her, okay? And he would go after new fancies. He'd go after other women. Then Mom gave it to me when she died, and she said, when you find yourself a wife, give it to her. And I did. So you dang well better take care of that handkerchief. Now, I don't think there was any of this weight on it when he gave it to her initially. Okay? This is all added on. I'm not saying he made the story up. I'm saying he would not probably have given it to her threateningly. But now that it's missing, now the threat comes. She even says, is that possible? And he says, yes, it's true. The woman who made it was 200 years old. She sewed it. The worms, the silkworms that made the silk, were hallowed. They were blessed. And then he says this, which is really kind of creepy, but really kind of cool. It was dyed in mummy. It was dyed with body parts. Okay, what body parts was it dyed with? Something that some skillful person conserved of maidens' hearts. Okay, maidens are virgins. They're young women, young girls, okay? And their hearts are, of course, red. So somebody, some skillful person, took the hearts of virgins and made a red dye of it and dyed this handkerchief. That is some kind of freaking enchantment. That's some kind of freakiness is what that is. But that's what he's saying. And she said, what? And he goes, yes. Therefore, you make sure you keep an eye on it. And she, as any normal human being, as I would have said, says, oh, I wish I never would have got it then. If I knew that about it. I mean, like, holy cow, what do you expect of me? Like I say, I don't think he made her feel that way when he gave it to her. Because his confidence, his innocence, his naivete about love, he didn't realize what he was doing. It doesn't mean that he's right in pressuring her this way. It doesn't mean that she should be pressured this way. I think this is another indication of A, how naive he was, and B, how naive she is. Okay. So this is indication that they're both too innocent to deal with love. They're kind of like Romeo and Juliet here. This is too big of a weapon, too big of a tool, too big of a dangerous roller coaster for either of these two people to be on. Let's see where it goes.
Ha! Wherefore?
Why do you speak so startlingly and rash?
It's lost, it's gone? Speak, is it out of the way?
Heaven bless us!
Say you.
It is not lost. But what and if it were?
How?
I say it is not lost.
Fetch it, let me see it.
Why, so I can, sir, but I will not now. This is a trick to put me from my suit. Pray you, let Cassio be received again.
Fetch me the handkerchief, my mind misgives.
Come. You'll never meet a more sufficient man.
The handkerchief.
I pray, talk me of Cassio.
Handkerchief.
A man that all his time hath founded his good fortunes on your love, shared dangers with you.
The handkerchief.
In faith you are to blame.
Zounds!
Well, that escalated quickly. Let's see exactly what happened here. He said, so you better be careful about this handkerchief. She says, I wish I had never seen it then. He says, why not? She said, well, what are you yelling at me for? Let's see it. Oh, come on. Did you lose it? Well, no, I didn't lose it. He says, well, then get it. No, I'm not going to get it. As a matter of fact, what you're doing right now is you're trying to get me away from my suit, the thing that I'm asking for. You're trying to stop me from talking about Cassio. Oh, holy cow, girl. This is not the thing to say. He is jealous of Cassio right now. Okay. And she says, I'm not going to get distracted by this handkerchief thing. I want to talk about Cassio. I want to deal with Cassio and how you're being mean to him. Oh, I'm being mean to him and you don't want to show me the handkerchief. That's right. You're being mean to him. It's like the perfect elements for an absolute explosion. That's what we have going on here. She says, you'll never see a more sufficient. He says, where's the handkerchief? Talk about Cassio. No, where's the handkerchief? You are the one that is to blame for him. You're in the wrong about this. And he finally just yells swoons, which again means by the wounds of Christ on the cross, his wounds, apostrophe S, wounds, okay? So it's like a pretty extreme curse. It's the religious version of the Effenheimer, if you will, okay? And then he leaves. It's like, you are really, I just can't. And he walks off. And Amelia is like, holy cow. You're saying that this is not a jealous guy? He sure looks jealous to me. And she says, I've never seen him act like this before. This is insane. Let's hear it.
Is not this man jealous?
I ne'er saw this before. Sure, there's some wonder in this handkerchief. I am most unhappy in the loss of it.
'Tis not a year or two shows us a man. They are all but stomachs, and we all but food. They eat us hungrily, and when they are full, they belch us. Look you, Cassio and my husband.
There is no other way. 'Tis she must do't, and lo, the happiness. Go and importune her.
How now, good Cassio? What's the news with you?
Madam, my former suit, I do beseech you that by your virtuous means I may again exist and be a member of his love, whom I with all the office of my heart entirely honor.
Okay, so remember that Iago is trying to get Cassio to look bad. So as they enter, he's telling Cassio, I tell you, dude, you gotta use her to get to him. You gotta talk to this wife. You've gotta really beg her to help you out. You gotta get her to bring you up to her husband, which is what we just saw. But of course, it's Iago we're talking about. Okay, Desdemona says, what's the news with you? Oh, I really, really need you to talk to your husband for me.
would not be delayed. If my offence be of such mortal kind that neither service past, nor present sorrows, nor purposed merit in futurity can ransom me into his love again, but to know so must be my benefit, so shall I clothe me in a forced content and shut myself up in some other course to fortune's arms.
Here he says, so if I'm never going to be his lieutenant again, if I'm never going to be able to get his goodwill back, then even knowing that would be better than this sort of in the middle that I am now, because then I could move on and do something else. So I need something. Well, this is what she says.
Alas, thrice gentle Cassio, my advocation is not now in tune. My lord is not my lord, nor should I know him were he in favour as in humour altered. So help me, every spirit sanctified, as I have spoken for you all my best, and stood within the blank of his displeasure for my free speech. You must a while be patient. What I can do I will, and more I will, than for myself I dare. Let that suffice you.
Is my lord angry?
Well, he went hence but now, and certainly in strange unquietness.
Can he be angry? I've seen the cannon when it hath blown his ranks into the air, and like the devil from his very arm, puffed his own brother. And is he angry? Something of moment, then. I will go meet him. There's matter in't indeed if he be angry.
I prithee do so.
So she said to Cassio, things are now not in tune. He's upset with me. You just got to be patient. Okay, just hold on. I'll be able to talk with him. He seems upset. What, is he angry? Yeah, Iago, he's angry. You know that. We know that you know that. But she says, yeah, he's acting all strange right now. And look what Iago says. I have seen the cannons blow up his soldiers. I've seen his own brother puffed, like turned to mist beside him. And he's angry? Oh, if he's angry, it must be really big. I'll go check on him. She says, please do so. And then Iago goes off to find Othello.
Something sure of state, either from Venice or some unhatched practice made demonstrable here in Cyprus to him, hath puddled his clear spirit. And in such cases, men's natures wrangle with inferior things, though great ones are their object. 'Tis even so. For let our finger ache, and it endues our other healthful members even to a sense of pain. Nay, we must think men are not gods, nor of them look for such observancy as fits the bridal. Beshrew me much, Emilia. I was, unhandsome warrior as I am, arraigning his unkindness with my soul. But now I find I had suborned the witness, and he's indicted falsely.
So she says, it must be something from the state, something from Venice that's upsetting him, or something from Cyprus. It's some government thing. But it's interesting. I mean, no matter, like, even when just our finger hurts, it makes the rest of our body hurt. So it's some little thing that's bothering him. It can't be anything big. Yeah, not like his wife is fooling around, which is what he's suspecting. But then she says, oh, Emilia, I've been so bad about him. I was accusing him of being mean, and look, I made him mean by doing it. Ugh. Emilia says,
Pray heaven it be state matters as you think, and no conception nor no jealous toy concerning you.
Alas, the day I never gave him cause.
But jealous souls will not be answered so. They are not ever jealous for the cause, but jealous for their jealous. 'Tis a monster, begot upon itself.
She says, let's hope that it's a government thing and not him being jealous. Well, I never gave him a reason to be jealous. No, that does show how innocent you are, that you don't realize that you're giving him reason. But then Emilia says, well, they don't need a reason. If you're jealous, you're jealous. They'll come up with some reason.
Born on itself.
Heaven keep that monster from Othello's mind.
Lady, amen.
I will go seek him. Cassio, walk hereabout. If I do find him fit, I'll move your suit and seek to effect it to my uttermost.
I humbly thank your ladyship.
She she says, I'll go find him. And now Cassio is left alone on the stage, and in walks Bianca, who we have not seen before. We know from the cast of characters that Bianca is this courtesan, maybe kind of a prostitute. She's not an important woman. She's a shady woman. So she's not like respectable. She's not a Desdemona. She's not even like Amelia. She's sort of just a common woman. Now Cassio, remember, is a bit of a dandy. So he's a bit of a gentleman. So if she is flirting with a gentleman and she's in love with him because he's so gentlemanly and proper, he can, sort of take advantage of her because she's a lowly common woman. Keep in mind, Cassio, from what we heard earlier, is married. He has a wife back home in Florence. He's a Florentine. But she's way back home in Florence. And right here, well, here's Bianca. And so he flirts around with her, probably a lot more than flirting around with her, from what we get implied here. But at this moment, that's not what he's thinking about. He's going to flirt a little bit with her, but he actually wants her to do some work for him. Let's hear what that work is.
Save you, friend Cassio?
Oh, what make you from home? How is with you, my most fair Bianca? Faith, sweet love, I was coming to your house.
And I was going to your lodging, Cassio. What, keep a week away? 7 days and nights, 8 hours. And lovers' absent hours more tedious than the dial 8 times. A weary reckoning.
Pardon me, Bianca. I have this while with leaden thoughts been pressed, but I shall, in a more continuate time, strike off this score of absence. Sweet Bianca, take me this work out.
Take me this work out. Okay, so first she says, you've not been around. He says, well, I've been kind of busy, but here, I have a thing. I'll be around more, okay? But here, I have a thing I need for you to do. Take me this work out. Take this work out, which I mentioned before. This is the same thing that Iago asked his wife to do. Take out the work on this handkerchief. Have it copied. Can you please, for me, have this copied so that I can have this handkerchief? Okay? Seems fairly innocent. However, it's kind of a girly handkerchief. And so Bianca, who's probably being illegitimate with him herself, is anxious that he's having an illegitimate affair with someone else right away.
Cassio, whence came this handkerchief? This is some token from a newer friend. To the felt absence now I feel a cause. It's come to this. Well,
Go to, woman. Throw your vile guesses in the devil's teeth, from whence you have them. You are jealous now that this is from some mistress, some remembrance. No, by my faith, Bianca.
why? Whose is it?
I know not, sweet. I found it in my chamber. I like the work well. Ere it be demanded, as like enough it will, I'd have it copied. Take it and do it, and leave me for this time.
Leave you? Wherefore?
I do attend here on the general.
Now, before we get into that, notice a couple of things here. She says, this is from some girlfriend that you have now. He says, no, come on, quit being jealous. He says, I found it in my chamber, which sounds automatically like, oh, okay, wait a minute. You don't know who this belongs to, but you found it in your bedroom? Remember, though, they're on Cyprus. This is not his house. This is the room that he's staying in. So he found it in the room that he's staying in. It could be anybody's, honestly. And then he says, like enough, most likely, it will be demanded. Someone's going to come looking for it. Before they come looking for it, I want to have it copied. I think it's really cool. So can you please help me? Just copy this, and then I'll be able to give it back when they ask for it. Please just take this and go and do that for me. Leave me. She says, leave you? Why? So I got to talk to the general because of this problem that I have. And, it probably wouldn't be best if it looks like I'm being distracted by some woman. So can you just kind of take off?
and think it no addition nor my wish to have him see me womaned.
Why, I pray you?
Not that I love you not.
But that you do not love me. I pray you bring me on the way a little, and say if I shall see you soon at night.
'Tis but a little way that I can bring you, for I attend here, but I'll see you soon.
'Tis very good. I must be circumstanced.
So she says, bring me on a little. Just give me a little something, would you? Give me some kind of something. Am I going to see you soon? And he says, honestly, he says, really, I can only give you this little thing. I will see you soon, but that's all the further I can take you for now. She goes, okay, I will accept what's going on here. And she goes off to copy the handkerchief, and he goes off to look for his boss because he's trying to get back in with his boss. And that's the end of Scene 4 of Act 3.